Let's have another program that will consolidate your concepts of objects and classes, and especially constructors.
This video is brought to you by Appy Pie Academy.
I have already typed this program in order to save the time. This is class employees. See the syntax colon. After that, as we people define the member method of the class def double underscore init double underscore. This is going to be your constructor, as I have already explained. And apart from self, which is reference to the class itself, we have formal parameters with the name ecode, bsal, hra, pf. Let me tell you, ecode stands for employee code, bsal is for basic salary of the employee, and hra is house rent allowance of the employee, pf is provident fund. Okay, so this is our constructor, and let's go to the driver. Driver means the program, the place where the program gets executed outside the class. This is the whole thing is called driver. So like eob1 is equal to employees 101, 10,000, 1000.87, 900.99. These are the values I want to have for this object eobj1. Now, as is the rule, what will happen is the constructor would be executed, and in the process what would happen is the value 101 will go into ecode, self will be ignored, will go into ecode. The second value 10,000 is bound to go to bsal, okay, and the third value, which is 1000.87, is bound to go to hra, formal parameter hra, and 900.99 is supposed to go to formal parameter pf. Okay, so after that what will happen is the properties with the name, four properties with the name ecode, bsal, hra, pf, they would be automatically created in the memory. And after that, the values of these formal parameters which have captured these values 101, 10,000, 1000.87, 900.99, these values would be put into respective properties. Properties are also called attributes or instance variables, or they can also be called member data. So this value ecode, formal parameter ecode, contains 101. This value 101 will go into the property ecode because we have preceded it with the self. Okay, similarly the second value bsal is containing the value 10,000. So this value 10,000 will go into the property bsal. Why? Because it is being preceded with self, which is reference to the class itself. So similarly, hra formal parameter value will go into the property hra, and pf formal parameters value, which is 900.99 in this case, will go into the property pf. Okay, so far so good. So now what would happen is, after this, the scenario will be in the memory. Let me show you. In the memory, these objects would be created. You can see eobj1, eobj2, eobj3. You can clearly see this diagram. This is depicting the objects which are, this is the way they are contained in the memory. So you can see all these objects, they consist of four properties, four attributes, namely ecode, bsal, hra, pf, but all of them are stored separately in the memory. No overwriting takes place. In a way, we can say that each property or attribute has as many copies as the number of objects. Like ecode attribute has got 3 copies because there are 3 objects, eobj1, eobj2, and eobj3. So is the case with bsal. It has got 3 copies, hra has got 3 copies, and pf attribute 2 has got 3 copies. I again repeat it, there are as many copies of instance variables or properties or attributes, which we call, as the number of objects, right? Okay, let's proceed further. Now, so after that, what would happen is three objects have been created, and after that what I am going to do is I am going to call it like this: eobj1.display. The method would go into the display method. Okay, the control will go into the display method, and here I am printing employee code with format specifier percentile 8D. You are already familiar with format specifiers, we have discussed in one of the previous lectures. Then percentile self dot e code, so value of e code will be printed, bsal, pf, hra, but value of which object? eobj1, because at the time of calling display the current object was eobj1. Now the same method display is being called, but this time over by the object eobj2. Control will go into the same method, but scenario will be different. Why? Because this e code, bsal, pf and hra, all of them, they will represent the object eobj2. Similarly, eobj3.display, again the same method is being called third time over, but this time over the current object is eobj3, hence e code, bsal, pf for third object eobj3 will be printed. So this is how the things take place. I have had another function with the name net sal, so which will be calculating the net salary of individual objects, that is employees, and we can get it printed. So let me have a variable, suppose nsal. I would say nsal is equal to eobj1 dot net sal. There is no need to pass anything. Okay, and then I will get the value printed. I would say net salary of first employee is equal to percentile 8.2 f, again modulus operator percentile, and then after that I would write nsal eobj, it would be, sorry, nsal, simple nsal. Now see, when I call this function net sal, the current object was eobj1. The control will go into this method net sal. Here what is happening is basic salary plus hra minus pf. So we will have to proceed all these properties with self, because we are working in the class. So the net salary will be it is calculated as like we add basic salary, hra, and we subtract provident fund. Okay, this is a simple formula. Net salary will be calculated and that will be assigned to the local variable net sal, and after that, using the return statement, we will be returning it back. The net salary returned thus would go into the variable nsal back into the driver, and after that we will get the value of nsal printed on the screen. Similarly, we can get the net salaries for other objects also. Before that, let me execute this program. Control Shift F10. Yeah, this is the output. As you can see, this is the output. The display method has been called for the first object and all its values are getting printed. Now for the second object, now for the third object, and finally net salary of first employee is getting printed. On the same lines, you can get the net salaries of other employees also, which is quite simple to do. Okay, so let's copy and paste eobj2 net salary of, let me change the message here, second employee. So far so good. Now you can go for the third object, that is third employee. Here make it eobj3 and in the message write third employee, that is third object. Re-execute the program. Control Shift F10. Yes, here is the output. The net salaries of all the three employees, that is all the three objects, is getting printed.